look.
Boy, it's time for another one.
Another one, episode 3.
Episode Trace Episodos. That's fucked up Spanish. Sorry.
Very,
Uh,
very.
It's racist. Yeah, welcome to episode 3. This is going to be just whatever we want type of thing. We're just going to be talking about old shit, things that don't exist anymore. We're in a nostalgic mood, so we want to throw it back to the late 90s, early 2000s.
When MTV was actually cool.
When MTV had good shows, bro. When MTV was about the music. When making the band was still a show.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, first thing, we'll just open it up with like, and I'm not picking this for any particular reason, but like gaming. Back in the day, you didn't really have too much of a choice on, you can buy it wherever you want, and there's all these different options on where you can get a game and cross-platform. Like some games you just had to go get that console.
Oh, yeah.
You can't just go on Steam and like, oh, what's the Steam sale? You got to go get, well, in the case of me, my first legitimate console was a Sega Genesis. So you had to go buy cartridges that were the shape of like a VHS tape at the time. Slap that bitch in and fire it up. Can't just download something on the internet.
Nah.
What was your first? You're 2 years younger than me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was born in 94. Andre was born in 96?
Yeah.
96. What was your first game console?
My first game console was a Nintendo 64, and like
Nice.
my dad bought it, and he had South Park.
Oh, wow.
One of the first. I still have that game.
Damn.
I wasn't allowed to play it, but I still played it. Then
Feel like, yeah. Fucking, you can only buy the E-rated games. Don't buy the M.
So that got me in a lot of trouble because I was saying a lot of shit that I wasn't supposed to. But anyways,
and molded you into the person you are today.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, that was my first console. I was playing freaking.
Did you have
Lego.
Zelda?
I did have Zelda.
Nice. Which one?
Majora's Mask.
Oh,
and
arguably the better of the. Well, a lot of people are going to say,
Ocarina of Time.
yeah, a lot of people are going to say Ocarina is the superior N64 Zelda. Personally, I think Majora's Mask was a much more well thought out game, but that's just me.
There's so much you can do into it though. You run back to the game, and there's more stuff that you
exactly
could have done.
It's like having 3 games in one.
Exactly. That's a game that
it was DLC before DLC was a thing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I had Rugrats.
Oh, wow. Which one? The
one.
Is it the one where you roam around the house, or is it the one where they're in Paris?
It's the one you it's a board game.
Oh.
So, you get your cookies and you gotta watch out for Angelica.
Got it.
You can pick Lil Dill, Tommy.
Yeah.
Chucky.
On the topic of Rugrats. So, yeah, my first console was a Genesis, whatever. I had Sonic, I had fucking Lion King, Aladdin, the classics. When I got my PS1, one of the first games that I owned was the Rugrats game. Now, this game was interesting. You roam the house as Tommy, and you're in the house from the show, Tommy's house. And there's different areas of the house where you have to they're like little things that have it's hard to explain. But there's different objects that are different missions, and those missions take place in things that have happened in the show, like different parts of the world of Rugrats.
Oh, dang.
It blew my fucking mind back then that I was able to play the things that I was seeing on TV. Because we had, before that, we had fucking, I don't even know. in terms of like video game tie-ins for movies and TV. We had like what, Ninja Turtles on the SNES. Yeah, we had.
But we also had like, what was it? Like little hints and like gimmicks of like inside games like Conker, like
Yeah,
mechanics and all that.
references.
Yeah, I don't know why I can't think of the word.
Yeah, and then like I mentioned, we had things like the Lion King game, the Aladdin game. Direct movie tie-ins where you're basically just playing the game over again. But this is the first one where like you got to they added shit, and you're like, oh no, what is this? And I hope people remember what I'm talking about because this game was insane. I don't think it's aged well because if you play it now, it looks kind of like doo doo.
Yeah.
But that game blew my dick off, to get a little vulgar.
Man.
Yeah, man. Did you ever have? Did you have any PlayStation consoles
I didn't.
growing up?
You know what? I did not. I had the Sega Dreamcast. Then I was like one of the first CD games,
Right.
disc games, I should say. But the Sega Dreamcast was my second, but I ended up getting the GameCube later on in 03.
Oh yeah.
My grandpa bought me
Nice.
that one.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to in the what was that, the 4th or 5th console cycle, I was fortunate enough to have a PlayStation 2, an Xbox original. That thing was a monster console.
A big
it was
old
huge. It was fucking huge, dude. It was like a tomb from like an ancient civilization, like the Book of the Damned in your fucking entertainment center. That thing was gigantic. But I had that, and I had a GameCube, and then shortly after that, I had a PSP, and that was a revolution. But PlayStation 2, bro, to kick it off, fucking a game that I know that you and I have both spent a lot of time with, and that's Need for Speed Underground.
Oh yeah, number 2 was my favorite.
Number 2 was great. Number 1 though, the soundtrack, bro. Oh my god. Start the game up. There's that little intro cinematic. And another thing that they did then that they don't even do now, whether it's like a legal thing, I don't know, but they'd always have the like, don't do what you see in this game out in public streets, go to a professional track. It's like, bro, we don't have money for that shit. Don't tell us to do that. They don't even do it anymore. They're like, yeah, go fucking drift in your neighborhood. Who cares? Fucking, we didn't say it. You did it.
They're trying to make things safer for kids, for us.
I guess.
Now it's just like, do the fuck you want. Do whatever you want.
Yeah, Forza Horizon's like, yo, you want to run? You want to drive through someone's front yard? Go for it. Who fucking cares? We're not going to stop you.
And you get points for it, too.
Exactly. You get destruction points. But, no, man, Need for Speed Underground, I feel like that started a very unhealthy obsession with cars for me.
It for me as well.
That was serious. It was one of the first games to feature the Subaru Impreza in an upgradable fashion, and it highlighted, all the aftermarket things you could do with a car. The Skyline, a major addition to that game. They had the fucking Dodge Neon in that game. Like, it was ahead of its time, and EA and Need for Speed have not gone back to that pure, street, because the culture exists. It's still booming. Yeah. The aftermarket car scene is huge, and although it's not socially acceptable, yeah, no, it's huge now. I mean, it was huge back in the day, and then it kind of hit like an all-time low, and then it picked back up in recent years, and it's huge now. But I feel like then was like, it was the emergence of it, and everybody wanted to jump on it, and there were more risks being taken with things. Because you look at cars then and now, and they look, even though they're still really out there and modifiable and crazy looking, they looked so much different back then. Everything was, fucking air scoops here, and I've got this crazy polished chrome, whatever the fuck. In cars now, they're very tasteful. Nobody's really taking, the big risks like they were back in the day.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Need for Speed, they haven't gotten back to that just insane level of customization and like being able to pick parts. And I think one of the best franchises that does it, and still one of the only, out of a few, a game that I recently played, Need for Speed Payback. It got close, but
Oh
it's
yeah,
still,
it got real close. I have that
yeah,
right now.
it didn't have that like, I don't know. It feels like it's missing something to that old Need for Speed style that you just can't get back anymore. And then a game that Andre and I have put a lot of time into recently, Forza Horizon 4. One of the only other, too much time. One of the only other games that's really doing that like those old games did, with huge levels of customization and engine swaps and everything.
And you can build your car how you want, though. Drift,
Exactly.
rally, street.
You can set up how much drive ratio there is between the front and rear wheels. We're getting too into depth on this, but you get it. Yeah. But yeah, PlayStation 2, great console. Jak and Daxter, huge franchise. Definitely shaped how much time I spent in my early years. Grand Theft Auto, oh my god.
Got in trouble. I had that,
Bro.
I had that on the freaking Dreamcast when
Bro.
the bird view.
Yes. The
Man.
old GTAs before it was in 3D.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, no. GTA definitely influenced me as a person. I think it was, I know Grand Theft Auto 3, I didn't really play too much because I just picked it up at Game Crazy. That's another thing we're going to talk about in a little bit. Game Crazy. It's gone. And I have a story about it. But I got that game at Game Crazy for like $10, $15. And I was like, oh, sick, Grand Theft Auto. I'd never played a Grand Theft Auto game up until this point. Changed everything, bro. I was like, I can shoot whoever I want. You're joking.
Nope.
But that turned into Vice City. Huge game. Best soundtrack to date, in my opinion, besides the current GTA soundtrack.
Okay. I'm about to say, bro.
Yeah, no, but Vice City had music in it that I listen to now. Like, the Whispers and...
Oh, yeah.
Fucking... I would have to look up the soundtrack. But while I'm doing this, San Andreas, revolutionary video game.
Favorite.
Pretty much sparked like an entire media culture like boom at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Something about like the ghetto is so appealing to certain people. I don't know why.
The ghetto.
Because Andre and I are not from affluent areas by any means.
Nope.
So like for us, getting out of it as soon as possible is a goal. Not like looking into it and glorifying like, oh dude, gangs and fucking lowriders. It's like you want to get away from that to progress as a human, because as soon as you get pulled in, you're there forever, and it usually doesn't end well.
Dig too deep, you get stuck in the hole.
Bro, I mean, look at Nipsey Hussle just passed, and that lifestyle, it caught up to him, man. You got to break away, but fucking.
Well, again, he tried. Well, he was still in the area again. I don't know if he was still banging. I don't know.
Who knows? Tragic, nonetheless.
Yeah.
A bright light forever snuffed in media. But I'm looking up the radio stations here for Vice City. Oh, they had Toto Africa, Foreigner.
Oh, dang.
REO Speedwagon, Night Ranger, Luther Vandross. Bro, I'm telling you. Vice City, Hall & Oates, Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
They had Wang Chung. Go
really?
West. Yes, Dance Hall Days was the song that was on the soundtrack.
Dang, I didn't know that.
Lionel Richie. Yes,
Lionel.
Owner of a Lonely Heart. Then there was Wild Style Radio, which had Herbie Hancock, Grandmaster Flash, The Furious Five, Zapp and Roger, Hashim, Cybertron, Africa Bambaataa, Run DMC, Curtis Blow, Houdini, and then I think my favorite station, Fever 105, which was like the smooth like R&B station. Michael Jackson again, Hall & Oates, just insane track list. But yeah, man, Grand Theft Auto was the shit back in the day, and now it's just
Even bigger.
infested with hackers and bullshit.
Mods and everything.
Yeah,
Making it
whatever.
bigger.
The GameCube though, interesting console,
Yeah, I had Luigi's Mansion.
classic.
What else did I have? I had tons. Need for Speed 2.
Right.
I had all
You
the
had
Zelda
Underground
games.
too. You didn't have Need for
Yeah.
Speed 2.
Oh,
Right.
Underground 2, yeah.
Yeah.
Then I had all those like Wind Waker and Twilight Princess for
Okay.
the last GameCube game for
Right.
Nintendo. Man, there's a lot. All the Resident Evils.
Did
5
fun fact about Twilight Princess? I don't know if you know this, but the GameCube version and the Wii version are essentially the same game, but the GameCube version is flipped 180. It's basically like flipped horizontally, so everything's backwards.
Really?
Yeah, so like certain parts of the game, let's say like there's an item that's on the right-hand side of a building, it would be on the left-hand side, and everything would be on the other side. It was literally just flipped 180.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It made no sense.
That was weird. I didn't know that at
Yeah.
all.
I had the Wii version, so
Oh,
yeah.
I had the GameCube version, so now we understand.
Exactly. But did you ever play a game on the GameCube called Eternal Darkness?
Yes.
That game scared the shit out of
I
me.
didn't fucking play it after the fucking TV went off.
Bro,
Like, what the? I was like, I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah,
playing
yeah. No, I remember the first time I played that game. I think it's when you hit the crypt, or maybe even before that. But my character's head fell off, and I stopped moving, and I didn't know what to do. So I turned it off, turned it back on, and it was fine. And it freaked me the fuck out. I was like, and it didn't happen ever again. And then I realized years later that insanity meter had something to do with it. But as a kid, you're like, fucking, what's happening? But yeah, Eternal Darkness was a crazy game, and I really wish developers would take that kind of approach nowadays and just throw random shit in that you can't control. It just messes with you. I feel like that would make a really good horror game now, but no one does it.
There's another game. I can't think of it. There was another game that did that. I just can't remember what it was.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'll figure it out.
That's the only one I know of that really did something like that.
I know Metal Gear, when the remake for the GameCube.
Oh, you're talking about Psycho Mantis?
Like how I know that.
Okay.
Oh, like the controller, you gotta put it in a different.
Yeah, you gotta put it in player 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it read if you had a GameCube version, or I don't know if it did it for the PlayStation, but it read your memory card if you had certain types of games.
Did the same thing on PlayStation.
I was like, what? What are you doing?
Yeah.
How'd you do this?
That was a cool thing. No, the GameCube was awesome, man. Super Mario Sunshine, I spent an unhealthy amount of time with. And I feel like we finally got the like actual sequel to that game in Odyssey. Because Galaxy never felt like it didn't have that charm that Sunshine did.
Yeah.
Because there was so much like just dense, awesome content in Sunshine, and Galaxy felt like kind of bare almost. Like it was just like, oh, go through the level and whatever. But Odyssey has the exploration element that Sunshine does. You know, times 10. Not only does it look better, but it just plays like that game did. Yeah. If we could get a Sunshine HD, I would immediately buy it, no matter what it takes.
For the Switch?
Yeah, yeah. The Switch that I don't play at all. Whatever, I've got one. Fuck you. But yeah, I also my dad had an original Xbox. I think he got as like some office present. And either that or my uncle, and my uncle just left it at my dad's house. But we had an Xbox original also, and that was what started my love of fighting games.
Okay.
Because if my friends know anything about me, it's that the games that I really take seriously are fighting games.
Yeah.
And Dead or Alive started more so than Dead or Alive. It was, and kind of like one of the worst games to give an example of, but Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance was the first fighting game that I was like, holy shit, combos are a thing. And I spent hours learning every combo for a few of those characters. And
Yeah,
that
I knew you
eventually
weren't.
turned into, what did you say?
So I knew you weren't going to use every character.
Well, yeah.
I was
But
gonna
that turned into
say,
me going back to, because previously I had owned like Tekken and Virtua Fighter and shit for the PlayStation, but I never really dived into the real mechanics of those games. And then playing that game, it showed me like I looked at a combo list on Tekken for the first time. I was like, holy shit, there's a whole world I haven't explored. And then ever since then, Tekken has been my favorite franchise ever for games.
mine Street Fighter.
Street Fighter's good. I never really got into it
I
on
love
a
Street
serious
Fighter.
level. I got really good at 5 for a bit, and then I just stopped playing because my friend moved back to Georgia. I was like, oh,
Georgia.
exactly. My friend Ray Charles went back to Georgia. He was like, how am I going to drive there? I'm blind. All right, never mind. Moving on.
I was like, that's
Yeah, man. PlayStation 2, that was my go-to. I had the first two versions of it, the Fat Console, which for whatever
Slim.
reason could play scratch discs like there was no tomorrow. And
You know what? You're right about that. It did do that.
yeah, and it was weird because I would put like a scratch to hell PS1 disc in my PS2 Slim, wouldn't read it. I would wait, take that disc to my dad's house. That's where I left my fat PS2. I would play it on there, and it would play just fine. And I didn't know why. But that thing was built like a tank. I love that. I took that console. We did this thing at my school one time. Another thing that just doesn't happen because parents are so uptight about fucking public safety and whatever.
yeah.
But we had a like this my elementary school, we did like a student fair thing, and you could like volunteer to set up your own booth for like selling food or like crafts or whatever. And I had a gaming station. So I had like a stopwatch timer, and I would basically and we did this from like 9 in the morning until like 5 in the afternoon. And I was there all day.
Kicking kicks butts, huh?
No, I didn't play at all, but I set up my PlayStation 2, the fat one, and I set up a few different games. I had a racing game, a fighting game. I had Guitar Hero 2. Also classic game. Love Guitar Hero 2. And then a couple other ones. And I set them up, and I would put people on a timer. It was like, I think like a few bucks, either like $3 or $5 for like 45 minutes or something of gameplay.
Dang,
And I would time them out, and then as soon as 45 minutes was up, I'd tell them to pause, and we'd rotate to the people that were in line and everything. And I was handing out tickets like, come back at this time and whatever. I was fucking hustling, bro, in elementary school.
bro.
But
if we did it at my school, it'll be taken
exactly,
by somebody
yeah,
that we can't speak of, or we get shot at. So
yeah, exactly. But basically at the end of it, I was like breaking everything down. I drug my giant like tube TV to my school also to like play this shit on. It was so damn heavy. I had to wheel it in on my radio flyer wagon. Yeah, that thing is a monster. It was a 30-inch CRT TV with like, it had 720i inputs on it. It was like one of the first TVs that had that.
I
But it
just
was
had
massive.
you know that clear TV that you can see through?
Yeah, you had one of those.
I had one of those.
Like an Apple computer.
Basically like that.
Oh
It's just
man,
a clear TV.
I remember those. You could see all the wires and shit. I always
Yeah.
wanted one, but I heard that they got gross after a while.
Actually, mine didn't. It was.
Oh, that's good.
It's still. I still have. I'll show it to you.
My friend had one, and the plastic was like yellow in the back because it was against his
Ooh.
window. Yeah, it was nasty.
Oh, mine was inside. I didn't. Mine
Yeah.
was-
Well, there you go. But yeah, I lugged this giant TV around, and I was breaking everything down. and my PS2 slipped out of my arm, hit the floor directly. It had this giant like dent in the front of it, like on the plastic.
Oh,
And I was
man.
like, oh, it's broken. It has to be. Took it home, popped in a scratch CD, played just fine. And I was like, bro, Sony can do no wrong. This thing is a tank.
They
But
learned
I
that.
feel like if you dropped like a PS4 like that, it would explode on impact. There's
Probably
no
would.
way that it would survive.
I'm gonna try that later.
You're going to drop your N64?
No, I dropped that plane. It still works.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
Fuck, man. But getting back to like old shit that doesn't exist anymore. I mentioned it a minute ago, but Blockbuster, Hollywood Video, Family Video stores, they're gone.
Crazy.
Netflix fucked everything up for us and online purchases. But I mean, you know, it's a good financial decision to close things up like that because the only real places that were still operating like that were GameStops.
Technically, actually, you're kind of wrong. We're kind of wrong. There is still a Blockbuster.
Well, yeah, they still exist in very few numbers.
We have one.
Hollywood Video is pretty much gone. And
Yeah.
that was what was by my house growing up. It was a Hollywood Video for the longest time. And I remember so vividly when you walked in, there were like the Oscar statues greeting you at the door, the big
Yeah.
fuck, dude. And they had just a bunch of like reels of like different movies playing in the back, like the new movies. And they were all on like these CRT screens. It was insane. But the day they put a Game Crazy into that Hollywood Video, it changed everything, bro. And I went there all the time. After school, you know, days I didn't have school on the weekends. I'd ride my bike there. I'd trade all my old games in. It was awesome. But I can't remember when it was, but they had closed the Hollywood Video by my house and there was only one left in Stockton. And it was on Hammer Lane. And then eventually Hollywood Video just went under completely. And I got a letter in the mail saying, "Hey, you have a balance with us of $123.35."
What?
Or some it was over $100. It was like 120 something. They sent me a letter and it said, "You can redeem this as a check or as a gift card for any of these retailers." And they listed a bunch of different stores and I was like, "I don't want any of this shit." So I emailed the contact email saying, "Hey, this is my reference number. I have money on your books. I just want to get it back in a check," and blah, blah, blah. Never heard back from him.
Man, you should
Never heard back from him. And then, like, what am I going to do? Sue them? They're already bankrupt. So I basically lost, you know, my childhood money from this place because it went bankrupt. Broke my heart, man. And that was the moment where I was like, I have to get a gaming PC now. I had held out long enough.
I got like most of my movies when they closed Hollywood Video.
Oh yeah, those clearance sales.
Yeah, I was like, see ya. I'm gonna take all this crap because you're selling it for like how much?
Yo, do you remember like the different colored VHS tapes for like kids movies and stuff?
Oh yeah, there was like a orange for Nickelodeon.
Yeah, the Nickelodeon ones were orange. Disney had white ones.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes those baby blue ones too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, oh man, something about VHS tapes just gives me like a good feeling. I don't know why.
You vapor,
that clickety clack, fucking putting a tape in and hearing it like into the player, and then as it's spinning the tape. Oh man, did you guys ever have a tape rewinder? Or was that like rich people?
No, we had one, but it broke. So, but we got a DVD player that did it, or
Got
a
you.
VHS that did it.
So my uncle had a tape rewinder, and it was in the shape of a Dodge Viper. And the hood popped open. You put the tape in and close it, and it would go, and it would whine so loud, but it rewound a tape in like 10, 15 seconds. It was incredible. Because like the ones that were built into like VHS players back in the day took like 35 to 45 seconds. But those tape rewinders were instant, man.
They got the job done real quick.
Yeah, and now all you have to do is go, "Hey Siri, stop playing movie," and it stops.
Or "Hey Alexa."
Yeah, fucking god damn it, technology. Why are you so convenient?
I'm not sure.
Shut up, Alexa. I'm not talking to you. Sorry, my Alexa came on.
your Amazon Dot.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Like, sorry, I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about?
She's listening to us.
Yeah, man. Blockbuster. They had the best snacks. I always bought like those stupid cotton candy buckets from like Hollywood Video and Blockbuster. Rot my goddamn teeth out.
Oh, I never did that, but
Oh, dude, speaking of like candy growing up, what happened to ice cream trucks?
they're still around. There's one in my neighborhood.
I haven't seen one in at least 10 years.
Well, they're dying off, but
Yeah, well, they're probably getting robbed a lot more.
Hey, I want this, and give me your damn money. Okay, my friend.
Yeah, stop. Hey, how can I help you? Put a gun in his mouth. Fuck, dude. Yeah, no, bro, fucking the ice cream truck growing up. Oh my god! As soon as you hear that da da dun dun da dun da dun,
oh, you're out the door.
Yeah, run inside. Mom, I need money, and then run back out. I remember chasing one down on a bike one time, and like I was pedaling so hard that like I eventually just gave up and stopped following him, and I had gone so far away from my house. I was like up past my school by the fucking baseball diamonds. But do you how often did you like get stuff off ice cream trucks?
So when I was like, I want to say when I was like 6 to 10.
Okay.
10 was the last time. Like I see
what would you get?
I would get the cookies and cream blizzard.
Okay, awesome. I fuck with that.
And I would have got, for some reason, sometimes I'll get that freaking SpongeBob or
Bro.
The
ones with the fucked up gumball eyeballs.
Yeah, it's supposed to look like this, and their eye is all like smaller.
You pull it out, and it's all three. I would get the Sonic the Hedgehog ones.
Yes.
And the eyeballs would come out all fucked up. Or like one would be on his chin. You're like, what the fuck, dude?
How did this happen?
Now, this might be like too old for you, but do you remember the WWF ice cream sandwich bars?
Yes. Yes.
Bro, oh my God.
I see them from my dad after wrestling.
Yes, bro. Funny enough, the only ones that I would get off my local ice cream truck were fucking Stone Cold Steve Austin. It was always the same one. And the graphics were always all shitty and like half missing. Those were delicious though.
Those are the days.
Yeah, man. Childhood diabetes coming at you. Yeah, and then my ice cream truck guy started selling like cap guns and slingshots and shit. I remember
I sell chili Fritos.
Yeah, I bought a slingshot off of him for like $5. My mom was like, "Where the fuck did you get this?" My friends and I were like, we were slingshotting rocks like over the houses and shit.
Oh shit.
I guess some dude had like reported it to the police, and it was on the news that like people had like thrown rocks at his windows. Pretty sure it was us flinging him with a fucking slingshot. But it was in the paper. I was like, oh no, I gotta get rid of this thing. I was like, I'm a criminal. I'm going to jail, Mom. I'll see you later.
You're all panicking.
Yeah, no, that thing was deadly, and it was so crude. It was like this shitty plastic handle, but it was made with like surgical tubing, which, by the way, is what they use on like real hunting slingshots right now.
Yes.
We would pull it back to like full arm length and launch it, and it would just disappear, and you wouldn't hear it land. It was insane. And we got it for $5 off an ice cream truck.
Well, things were made better back then too.
Things were made better, and there were less rules. Yeah. Like if an ice cream truck had anything resembling a weapon, parents would be up in fucking arms, and that guy would be in jail.
Why would you have this?
Yeah. My son bought a gun from your truck. I want you arrested. Whatever. I used to chase my friends around the neighborhood with fake pistols all the time. We would do like bike gang stuff. Yeah. You were in a much different neighborhood than I.
I would have died.
Little more dangerous than my neighborhood. I mean, I've seen my fair share of crazy shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there was this one night I was in my room doing homework and it was like sunset. And there were these like gangster ass fucking dudes that lived like around the corner from us. And they parked this car in front of our house, our driveway, to the point where we couldn't get into our driveway. So we called the cops and we're like, we don't know who this car is, whose car this is. Like, we need it out of here. We can't get into our house. They're like, all right, well, we're going to call a towing company and get it towed off your property, whatever. And then later on, I heard some dude like, what the fuck, bro? Oh, like yelling outside. And it was the little gangbanger's fucking car from around the corner.
Ah, fuck.
Yeah, so he goes running up to his house. They get in some other car and then just down the street going to look for the fucking car. Oh my god. Then that was just one of a few things. But man, fuck,
Crazy
dude.
life, dude.
Some crazy shit. I came home from school one time on my bike, tennis court at the park in front of my house. The nets were on fire. The fucking basketball hoop nets were on fire. Just crazy shit. Unnecessary bullshit. It was insane, man.
They just do, throw fucking tennis shoes on the.
Yeah. Funny enough, they didn't really do that in my neighborhood. All the power lines were like tucked away.
Oh.
Couldn't really get to them. No, I saw my fair share of like people's clothes just out in the street. Shit.
Man.
Good old days. Man, another thing that you don't really see anymore are like, and I don't know if this is even like just like a sign of the times, but like restaurants with like, well, never mind. I'm not even going to get into that because I'm pretty sure I'm wrong. It's like kids menus with like coloring pages on them.
Yeah, they still have those.
Okay, yeah, I'm totally wrong.
Yeah, they do it at Chili's, Applebee's.
Yeah, dude. Yo, do you remember Hit Clips?
Yeah.
The little fucking cassette music things. It was like 30 seconds of music.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, Hit Clips that was like iTunes before iTunes. I had the little boombox.
Did you?
And then I also had the one with the earpiece.
I just had that little, I just had the one with the earpiece.
Yeah, and I had like NSYNC and fucking. I had a Britney Spears song. I don't know. I think it came with the boombox, but I didn't want it.
I had the Jackson 5.
Yeah.
And I think I forgot the other one. I only had like 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, no, Hit Clips was insane, dude. And they had like, wasn't there like a walkie-talkie or something? Or like, it looked like a little, hold on, I don't know. It looks like a walkie-talkie. I'm looking at an image right now. Oh no, it was a radio tuner. That's right. Oh my god, it wasn't a walkie-talkie. You put it into the fucking boombox and it was an AM/FM tuner. And you could scan for stations. Bro. Oh my god. Oh, oh my god. Yeah, who listens to fucking FM radio anymore? Old people. Yeah, man. Hit Clips were insane. Do you remember the jukebox, or not the jukebox, the Juicebox video player?
Kind of. I knew like the older kids at my daycare did.
Yeah. And there were like full episodes of like kids shows that you could get for it.
Mm-hmm.
I had Ed, Edd n Eddy and like Yu-Gi-Oh! And there was like a few episodes on each one. And then there was an attachment that was like a cartridge, but you could put an SD card of whatever you want in there.
Oh, I do remember that.
Bro.
I do remember that.
Yes. This thing, I'm going to send a picture of this to Andre. We're not in the same room, by the way. Here, I'm going to put this in the chat right here. That's what it looked
Yes,
like,
I do
bro.
remember that.
The most clunky little fucking dinky like detonator ever.
Then they remade these, and I forget what
Yeah,
they're
they made it
called
like a
after that.
slimmer version, and it had
Yeah.
I forget what feature it had, but I think it was like wireless or something. Yeah, dude, the Juicebox.
Then they started making it for the
Fucking
Game Boy Advance.
right. They did video like complete episodes on the Game Boy Advance.
Had all the Courage Cowardly Dog one.
um, and then the evolution of this. I don't know if you ever had one. I had one. I don't even remember where I got it. I had a Zune.
You know what? I didn't have one, but my stepbrother at the time did.
Yeah, I had a Zune. It was the Halo edition one, which was pretty fucking rare at the time. I don't remember where I got it. I think I like lifted it off my uncle's dresser or something. I don't know. Excuse me. But I had a Zune, and I remember feeling like the shit. Like, man, fuck iPods. I got a fucking Zune player.
And now they don't
and
make
now
it
now they're
anymore.
gone completely.
I just
But
wanted one the other day. Not the other
yeah,
day, but a
bro.
while ago. I was like,
Well, because
man.
it was the first MP3 player that did video, but it did really high quality video,
Yeah.
and you could like sideload free shit. And I don't know, man. But the Zune was insane. I love that thing. And then I eventually got an iPod Classic, 160 gig, and I was like, yeah, this is better.
I used to have that thick one where you can, or actually it was slimmed down,
Yeah.
but you can play like little mini games on there.
Oh, was it the iPod Mini or?
It wasn't the mini. It was it didn't have a lot. I forget what it's called. I gotta look it up. I have it somewhere in this room, but I watched it.
I know what you're
And
talking
it still
about.
works.
Yeah.
That's what I loved about that.
I remember I had the third generation Mini, which was like the really thin square one
Oh yeah.
with the screen. That thing, I put that thing through so much hell. I had like music videos on it and fucking pictures and all kinds of shit. And now iPods don't fucking exist anymore.
Nope.
I mean, you can still get the touch a few places, but I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
Apple's gonna stop making those.
You can still get an iPad, but why have an iPad?
I know. Why have a 13-inch fucking iPod with no scroll wheel? Yeah, man.
It makes that.
Yeah. As you scroll through it.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Good old days.
Used to have a lot of Legos too.
Yeah. Legos. Oh man. I remember. Did you ever have Bionicles?
Yes. Yes.
You had Bionicles? So
Mm-hmm.
I was subscribed to the Lego magazine at the time.
I was too.
Bro.
I got free.
And it was. Hold on, I need to look this up.
I got free VHS tapes.
Yeah. So Bionicle 2000, that's right. They did a special issue for like the new millennium. And it was the inception of Bionicle, and I didn't know what the fuck it was at the time. I thought it was going to be a game or something, but I got an issue of the Lego magazine in the mail, and it came with a disc, a silver Lego disc, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And I put it into my like 98 Gateway Cowbox computer with a CD-ROM drive. And oh, that's another thing, bro. Gateway. Fucking there used to be like Gateway stores at my mall where it was just Gateway Cowbox computers.
They don't make them or they don't make them at all. I haven't seen one in forever, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll look that up.
And it would come, you would buy the Gateway computer and it came in like the cow colored box.
Yeah.
And God, were those things fucking ugly, but like that was how you got cheap, Windows back in the day. But I put this Lego disc into the Gateway computer, hit the fucking close button, and it went shkunk and went right in. And it popped up as like product information, so you could see like the new toys that were getting released. You could see videos, like commercials of it before they aired. You could read like old issues from like the month prior,
Oh dang.
the months prior, yeah. And then there was videos of there was a secret. It was like a secret thing, and it was an island at the bottom, and you could click it. Like you would mouse over it, and it would light up, and you're like, "What the fuck is this?" When you clicked on it, it was this video, and the video starts out with like this bird flying overhead, like near a beach, and then it lands on this. You see this like shooting star coming out of the fucking sky. Then it hits the beach in like an explosion. And you're like, what the fuck? And then this bird flies down to it, and it's like this pod thing, like a tube. And the bird lands on it, and then it like opens up, like some airlock shit. And all of these like pieces pop out, these like robotic things. And then it like starts assembling itself. And it turns into the original black Bionicle. Yeah.
Man.
And then it just starts like walking down the beach, and then the title shows up, Bionicle, and then it gives you like a date. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Is this a game or something? And then I remember seeing I went to, I think it was like a Toys R Us. It was either a Toys R Us or a KB Toys. Bro, KB Toys was the shit. That's where I used to get all my games. But I was in a KB Toys, and I saw this logo. It said Bionicle, and it had a Lego symbol on it. I was like, what the fuck is this? So I picked one up, and it was, I think the first one that I ever bought was the brown one. And that was the one that nobody fucking wanted. But that was the first one that I got. And I built it, and I was obsessed. Because it had that like gear on the back. You could turn it, and its arms would move.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, I have to get them all. So I would hunt at these local Toys R Us's and KB Toys for like weeks trying to get them all. And I eventually had all of them, and then I figured out like you can like interchange the parts and make bigger ones.
Yeah.
Blew my mind. But dude, Bionicle, they're still making them today.
Well, there's also Hero Factory too, I think.
Yeah, which fuck it. It wasn't the commercial for that. Didn't they have like All American Rejects move along?
Well, that was for Bionicle.
Oh, okay, that was before the Hero Factory.
Yeah,
okay.
Hero Factory came out. I think we were in high school. Don't quote me on that, but yeah.
Got it.
And
yeah, man, Bionicle were the shit.
I think Hero Factory was a Nickelodeon Nicktoons.
Oh, that's right. They did a fucking show.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I remember when they did a movie. It was like The Mask of Light, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Horrible fucking movie, but I bought it. and I watched it on repeat so fucking much that the disc stopped working.
My cousin had that. He did the same thing.
Yeah. I'm looking at these Bionicles now. They look nothing like the old ones.
Plus, our masks weren't the ones that there was like, like the little Lego, like you can as money into crap, whatever.
Right.
We had that. We didn't have the little insert.
Right. Yeah, this is weird, man.
Time just flies by.
Yeah. Fucking toys have gotten so shitty.
Yep.
I remember collecting like Power Rangers shit back in the day. And like morphers looked like the ones on the show. They weren't like these dinky little rip-off versions of it that were like scaled for toddlers. I don't know if like Bandai or Mattel, I forget, I think Mattel picked up Power Rangers recently, but I don't think they realize like their audience is older now. It's not all just kids. Like I mean, that's what the Legacy series of stuff is like adult-sized Power Rangers toys, and I've got a couple of them. But
like you try to say the heck of low.
Yeah, I mean, people know I'm a nerd. It's whatever. I collect manga. I collect Power Rangers shit. It's whatever. I collect
Gundams.
More so than Power Rangers, a recent obsession of mine, Kamen Rider. Basically Japanese Power Rangers, but better story, and people actually die. Um,
Come back.
that show is fantastic, and I've been binge watched every season except for some of the new ones. That's a great line of toys that I'd love to collect, but that shit is so expensive because you got to import it.
Yep.
From yeah,
Japan.
Man. They're from Nippon. Yeah, dude. Fucking the early 2000s. It was such a weird transition period. Like things were getting duller but more advanced. I don't know how to explain it. It seems like all of the risk taking stopped in the 90s, and then shit just got really normal, and it's continued to be that up until like I'd say a few years ago, where shit started getting really up there again with like, you know, taking risks and crazy designs and stuff.
We're at a steady point right now.
Yeah,
People still wear 90s clothes.
Yeah, exactly. It came back because people realized, like, oh shit, some of this is dope, and things just got too same, and boring, which is awesome because I like old looking shit, anyways. But something I'm glad didn't stick around. Do you remember the era of music where everybody was making just like club, like EDM bullshit? Like Chris Brown was doing it. The Black Eyed Peas had completely transformed into that kind of music.
Yeah.
I'm glad that era is gone, because that was when I really dived into like shit that wasn't on the radio.
Well, it's still like around, but like
Right, it's still around, but it's dissolved enough to like, you know, the like 90s New Jack Swing style R&B is coming back in full. Look at Bruno Mars, you know.
Yeah.
He wasn't taking no for an answer on his style of music, and now 24 Karat Magic is one of the biggest albums out. Rightfully so, because he's a great artist, but you know, I had a feeling old shit was gonna happen again, and I'm glad and I'm sad at the same time, because like it's cool that we're embracing all of these, you know, older
eras.
Yeah, these older, like more forward thinking fashion designs and technology, not technologies, but like just aesthetic. But also like don't let that stop us in advancing as a society, because like vinyl has had a huge fucking resurgence. People are collecting cassettes again. Like film cameras are being bought again. It's like cool.
Sorry, it's my bad. I still buy film cameras.
Yeah, I know you do. You fucking hipster. But it's cool, but we also need to we need to both be a hipster and Elon Musk at the same time. You know, we can't forget that we need to advance beyond just old shit so that we can conserve what we have and stick around longer than just a few more 100 years, you know?
Yeah.
Because the earth is dying, and wearing old shit isn't going to help. And doing old things, you know?
Yeah.
One thing I'm glad that... Oh, no, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. It's just like we run away from something, and then we run right back to it. But now it's like I feel bad for the... Actually, I kind of don't feel bad for these kids. This is parents. But a lot of these
bro.
kids are doing some weird, odd things that we never did. And it's like, what the heck?
Yeah, bro. Fucking anti-vaxxers? What the fuck? Give your kid a vaccine. You want him to live, don't you? You dumbass. It's so
a lot of these girls are like 15 and looking like they're 23.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like, I feel like that has always been a thing, but it's so easy now with like social media to fake the persona of someone that's much older, and it's dangerous because not only are these, you know, girls at risk of like being creeped on by much older dudes, but you know, it fucks with like a young adult's mental state. And I don't know, man. I feel like
gotta watch out.
Because like, you know my friend at Zion, right?
Yeah, yeah.
His sister is already like, she thinks she knows fucking everything about the, I mean, we all do when we're teenagers. I felt like it didn't happen to me until I was like in high school, but she's in her, I think, sophomore year of high school, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna marry this dude, and fucking like, oh, I got all this shit figured out and whatever. It's like, by the time you hit college, everything you thought you knew is gonna change, and then life is gonna actually hit you,
Like,
and you're not gonna know what the fuck to do with yourself. Because I remember the day I moved out from my mom's place, I was 20, finally, and it completely changed how I behaved as a human. I actually felt like an adult at that point, and it was awesome because I was taking care of myself. I mean, I had a roommate, but we were taking care of ourselves, grocery shopping, paying rent, taking care of my car shit. It felt good, and I was like, okay, I get it now. Like, I have to be frugal and conserve certain things because I can't just ball out whenever I want, because
nope.
it's not a good option.
And it's unrealistic to do.
Exactly. And you see these kids fucking,
Bro, I just bought a $500 shirt.
yeah, buying like fucking Balenciaga and like fucking whatever else, just blowing all their parents' money on shit. It's like, yo, get to college and then tell me that shit makes a difference. It doesn't.
Actually, I'm gonna talk about this real quick. There's this kid around my block.
Yeah.
His parents make a decent amount of money, but anyways,
Okay.
he had a off-white Converse.
Okay.
He had like these weird. I wouldn't wear them, but he had like these weird, like, I guess they're like $800. I looked them up; they're like $800 and 800 and something plus tax.
Mm-hmm.
Then he had a Gucci belt. He didn't match, but he had a Gucci belt, a Gucci wallet, some odd hat that I don't know why he bought, but he bought, and it was like worth $300. And I was like, what are you wearing? And this kid got robbed.
Oh wow.
I was like,
Well, that's what happens, dude. It just doesn't make any like financial sense to be spending this kind of money as a teenager. Like, I get that that's the norm right now, is like everything's just a fucking fashion and material goods pissing contest.
Yeah.
But like, when does it end, and where does like the actual fulfillment start happening? Bless you, Courtney.
Hey.
It's Andre's girlfriend sneezing up a fucking storm in the back.
Not my fault.
I don't know, man. I kudos to the people that are going out and like, raiding thrift shops for old shit and you're recycling stuff. Like, cool. I'm for that. But, dropping all this fucking money on designer shit in high school, kind of unnecessary. Get good grades, fucking get a career, or,
bro. That's not their
fucking
mentality.
get a job. Yeah, I don't know.
Babies.
I was never into, flexing on the gram. I barely post on Instagram, and when I do, it's nonsense. But whatever. It's not for me to decide.
Man.
Anything else you want to talk about, Andre? I'm out of topics.
I'm out.
I've ranted about what I wanted to talk about.
Yes, you did. No, there's nothing much. That's basically it. It's the words on my mouth again. But yeah. Basically it, man.
One more time for everyone.
What?
Just say that's basically it.
That's basically it, guys.
Fantastic. All right. So we're gonna end it here. It's been episode 3. We hope to do many more like this where we just shoot the shit, because we need a break from looking up news all the time and trying to decide on what we talk about.
Well, we're still trying to figure out this channel anyways. So.
Exactly. So if you guys have any suggestions, leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to like. Please subscribe. We could take any support we can get. We appreciate every one of you.
Every one of you.
Every one of you. We would love to make this a career for years to come. And we only want to provide you with the most entertaining news and just conversation on the internet.
Freshest feed of the feed.
Exactly. Fresh. Thank you, Andre, for the plug. I've been Nick. That's been Andre.
Yep.
We're out of here.